Hey, so last week I had you go pick a leaf off a tree and identify the tree, and that was supposed to be part of what I'm going to be doing now. I happen to know that this tree that I'm going to be grabbing a leaf off of is a sugar maple. A lot of you guys picked maple when you identified your trees the other day. You can tell it is a sugar maple because of the kind of rounded U-shaped grooves or notches in the leaf. If they were more jagged and V-shaped, I put this comment on a lot of people's papers, they would possibly be a red maple or a Norway or a silver. There are lots of different varieties of maple, but this one happens to be a sugar maple from the front of my house. So I'm gonna take a pause here and we'll get to the next step of what we're going to be doing with this and what I intended to have you do with it. You can do this even if we're not at school once you see what the steps are. So we'll meet you inside again. So the next steps are going to be to take some scissors and chop this leaf up into little pieces. And since I'm not going to be able to hold my phone and chop up the leaf into pieces, I will cut it up and I will come back when I'm done with that little job. Okay, I've chopped up the leaf into little tiny pieces, and you'll note that the leaf that I chose was a green leaf. And also you'll note that what's going on at this time of year is that the leaves are turning color. And you might have asked yourself, why do leaves turn color in the fall? Well, that's what this whole thing is all about. We're gonna do a little bit of a procedure with these chopped up leaves, and we're going to see just what causes the color to be in leaves, and then what happens a little later on in the fall as they start to turn color. And the other thing you might have noticed is that a lot of the trees right now are actually losing their leaves before they turn color. And this drought, this really dry situation has stressed these trees quite a bit, and they lose their leaves. Similar to a person who has had a lot of stress. They don't lose leaves, but they lose hair. No, that's not really true. I've lost hair because of male pattern baldness, and it runs in my family, genetics. So anyway, next step. Next step is we're going to take some rubbing alcohol and we're going to put it in a small container with the leaves. And the rubbing alcohol will extract the pigments from the leaf that's in there. Okay, now that I've got the leaf in there with the rubbing alcohol, I'm going to take my really fancy and special expensive scientific tools, ballpoint pen with the cap on, and mash that up and just try to get the alcohol into the little pieces of leaf and to kind of break down the pigment and release it out of the leaves. So we'll be back in a little while and we will take a look at it once it's had a time to sit and to release those pigments. So I fished out most of the little pieces of leaf, and what we're left behind is the rubbing alcohol with some of the leaf pigment left in it. That's in the bottom of the container, and then what I've got set up is a piece of paper towel stuck to a pencil hanging off two jars, and we're going to suspend that into the solution, and I'm going to cut it off right after I do that because there's a question on your worksheet that asks you what you think is going to happen. So let me do that. I've tried to do this with really simple materials so that if you do want to try to do this at home, it shouldn't be dangerous or scary. So there we go.